Welcome to MMA Dogs. My name is Hector, and as always, thank you for tuning in. A big thank you to all of our clients, and we got plenty of fights to cover here. So we got UFC Fight Night 53 and 54, and there are some great opportunities here. There are some very talented fighters, and there is a 5-star pick that I have, so I am very excited to share that. Before I get started, you never want to bet more than you can afford to lose. So, make sure you never bet more than you can afford to lose. Second thing is you always want to check your local laws. And the third is much respect to all the men and women stepping into the octagon. So, let's go ahead and start with UFC Fight Night 43, taking place in Sweden. And for the first fight of the night, we got Chavez dropping down to 145 against Zubaira Tukhugov. And we've seen Tukhugov before at 145 pounds, and he's very talented, has good footwork, a good range of distance, just a very well-rounded game, young guy. I think he's 23, 24 years old, training at a Tiger Muay Thai. So, real top prospect. And then out of Chavez, we got a guy who's 31 years old, dropping down to 45. And I don't see it for him. I really don't. So, Tukhugov, let's go with Zubaira Tukhugov by decision. It won't be a bet, though, but Zubaira for the win. And then we got his brother, Mairbek Taisumov, fighting a newcomer in Bendel. Bendel comes in with a lot of hype, a lot of commotion around his submission game and ground game. But I'm gonna have to go with Mairbek here. I'm more impressed with what I've seen from him, and I like him to get the decision win. Also, it won't be a bet, but it'll be just a pick. For the next fight, with Tor Troeng, he impressed me in the fight against Rafael Natal, and after that, I just have not been impressed with him. I really haven't, and I can't pick him here. Definitely can't bet him here. So I'm gonna go with Krzysztof Jotko. He's been more he's more of a fighter in my opinion, based off the fights that I've watched. With Tor, he's just too hit and miss for me. So I'm going to go with Jotko by decision. Cathal Pendred versus Gasan Umalatov. Happy to see Pendred dropping down to 170. That's his natural weight class where he should be fighting at. Umalatov, very talented guy. With Cathal and that Mike King fight, that was one heck of a comeback. I think Cathal is riding high off of the win of McGregor, and he's got Nelson fighting on this fight card too. So I do have to favor Cathal here, even though I expect it to be very evenly matched. But I'm going to go with Cathal here for the decision win. Dennis Seaver versus Charles Rosa. Seaver, he's been out for a while now. He's 35 years old. Got busted for PEDs. And Rosa, the young guy on the come up. So I'm gonna go with the upset here. I'm gonna go with Charles Rosa. From the fights that I've seen of him, he's very impressive. Goes for the finish, gets the finish. And with Seaver, I think he's on the decline now, especially with the 10-month, 9-month layoff. So. See, it's time for a new guy here in Rosa to pull off the upset. And we have a very interesting matchup here. Musoke and Yakovlev. Musoke is going to own this guy on the feet. Yakovlev's got to get the takedown. He had an impressive fight with Maia, but Maia's striking leaves a lot to be desired, and how seriously did Maia take that fight? So with Musoke here, Musoke should knock him out in the first round. The price is pretty steep on him, and Yakovlev will have a big grappling advantage. So I don't want to place a bet on this one, especially when there's 6 other opportunities that we've got that I found. So Musoke for the win by knockout, but I'm not going to bet it. And Cedenblad against Scott Askham. Now Askham comes in with a lot of hype, undefeated, and Cedenblad's no joke. Training with the All-Star team there in Sweden. Askham is good, and this could possibly go to a decision, but I think in one of those grappling exchanges, wrestling exchanges, Cedenblad should be able to lock in a submission. So I'm going to go with Cedenblad by submission. Backstrom versus Wilkinson. This is a fight made for Backstrom to win. I predicted Backstrom over Ninamaki, and I'm going to predict Backstrom here over Wilkinson. The price is so big, though, they're trying to keep us off of him. And there's a few better opportunities here with better price tags. So I'm going to skip betting him, but I definitely expect Backstrom to win. I expect him to finish, probably by submission. And here we go. Ilir Latifi against Jan Blachowicz. And watching Jan's fights, man, he's like a 205 Tim Sylvia. I'm not impressed with him at all. And I expect Ilir Latifi here to get the finish. I've been very impressed with Ilir. Not only watching his fights, but with what everyone said about him, all his fellow fighters, all his trainers, everybody he's worked with. So I am going to go with Ilir Latifi, and I'll get into the bet here in a minute. Latifi by knockout round 2. Holloway versus Corassani. Fight here for Holloway to really show off his talents. I mean, Holloway's just looking like a real killer lately. Even his two most recent fights, I mean, you can just see this guy's improving. And Corassani's chin, he's gonna get knocked out. I see Holloway getting a knockout in round 2, so I definitely like Holloway there. And Nelson versus Story, very interesting fight here. Story just hasn't been able to put it all together, and Nelson continues to get better, training with McGregor and just improving from fight to fight. I expect Nelson to get submission here in round 2. So that does it for UFC Fight Night 53. Now we'll get to Fight Night 54. So let's go to the bottom here. A couple of real nice matchups here for some of these guys. First one is Munhoz versus Sanders. Munhoz should get the submission here in round 1. Sanders dropping down in weight doesn't really impress me. And Munhoz does impress me here, so I expect Munhoz to get the win. Tukhugov versus Dwyer. Tukhugov here is just overall can beat him everywhere and anywhere he wants. I don't even know why they have Dwyer in here. So Tukhugov all day. Paddy Holohan versus Chris Khalades. Holohan all day here. I'm not impressed with Khalades and with Chris, and with Paddy, I'm very impressed with him. I see him beating him anywhere he really wants. And I see that UFC setting up a good fight here for Holohan to move him up in the 125 division. So Holohan all day. And Felder versus Sago, very close matchup here. I can see it going either way, but I'm going to have to lean towards the slight dog here in Felder. So Felder by decision. And Olivier Mercier versus Jake Lindsay. Should be a good matchup here for Mercier. Should be able to get the decision, if not a finish with submission. Lindsay doesn't really impress me too much. Yeah, not really at all. And Njokuani versus Cruikshank. Very interesting matchup here. Njokuani is the kind of guy who wins one, loses one, wins one, loses one, takes a fight off, fights, takes a fight off, fights. And Cruikshank, talented. They match up real well here, but excuse me. I've been up for a long time actually. Putting the finishing touches on everything here. I like Njokuani here. I think it's one of the fights where he'll actually show up and actually fight and get a closely contested decision. Mitch Gagnon versus Roman. Salazar. I like Gagnon here. Gagnon has that explosive submission ability in the first round, and for Roman making his debut, it's a tough matchup. Lee versus Taleb. I like Taleb here, Nordin Taleb. Both guys are well-rounded. Nothing really stands out on either guy. But Taleb should have the experience here in the home country and should get the win. And, Taleb is in excellent shape for this fight, so he might actually get the finish here. Theodoro versus Santos. Very interesting matchup here. Theodoro, very talented fighter. Santos is going to have to look for the takedown. He's going to have to land a ground and pound. Theodoro should be able to get him on the feet, though, and get that second round knockout. Cedeno versus Lepre. Lepre, just a real sniper. This guy can really pick his shots, knock guys out. Cedeno is a little bit more of a brawler. He's talented, but Chad should get the win here. Caraway versus Sun Sao. Caraway, too one-dimensional for me. And Rafael Assunção should be able to stuff the takedown and land the knockout. If not, just get a decision win. MacDonald versus Saffiedine. Saffiedine is talented, but MacDonald's on another level. MacDonald's ultimate game planner, just a little brother to GSP, and we can tell by his fights. He took Robbie Lawler lightly, obviously, in that fight, and he won't be taking things lightly here. So MacDonald by decision, if not by submission. So I'm excited here to get to the bets because I have some very good news for you guys. I've got a 5-star pick, and I really put this guy under the ringer. Actually, I'm very familiar with this guy, but of course, these past few weeks, I've really put in some time watching his opponent and his fights, and I'm reminded why I have him so highly, and that's Ilir Latifi, 5-star pick, huge pick here. 4 stars, Rory MacDonald, he's a large pick. Max Holloway and Patrick Holohan, both 4 stars, medium picks. 3 stars, Rafael Assunção, he's a medium pick, and Albert Tumenov, and a medium pick also. So that's 1 5-star, 3 4-stars, and 2 3-stars. So very happy to see that. As far as the bets go, 1 unit equals 1% of the bankroll. The ratio on all the bets remains the same. So if you want to do more than a unit, or if you just want to do it based off of dollar amounts, I would just recommend keeping the ratio of the bets the same. So for example, Latifi at minus 250, MacDonald at minus 475 gives us minus 144. 4.5 units to win 3.13. Latifi at the same price, and Holloway at minus 625 gives me minus 160. 3.5 units to win 2.19. Holohan minus 290, and Assunção at minus 330. That gives us minus 133. So 2.5 units to win 1.88. Holohan at the same price. Tumenov at minus 275. That gives us minus 129. 2 units to win 1.55 units. So those are the big chunk of the bets there. All 2-leg parlays. It's a total of 12.5 units to win 8.75 units. And then some round robins. So round robin of 2s. There's 5 picks I made there. So the total bet is 0.70 to win 1.70. So each parlay is 0.07 units. So that's Latifi inside the distance, wins inside the distance at plus 135. Holohan wins inside the distance at minus 110. Tumenov inside the distance minus 158. Munhoz inside the distance at minus 141. And Holloway inside the distance at minus 145. So it's a total of 10 parlays at 0.07 units each. So 0.70 units to win 1.70. And then parlay here, 0.85 units to win 0.73. And that's Nelson's Story doesn't go to decision at minus 255. And Backstrom Wilkinson doesn't go to decision at minus 300. So that gives us minus 117. Like I said, 0.85 to win 0.73. So grand total on all the bets is 14.05 units to win 11.18. And the reason for the higher total is because of the 5-star pick and 3 4-star picks. So I'm looking forward to bouncing back from last week and moving forward, just adding nothing but more money to the bankroll, positive units. And, like I said, a big thank you to all of our clients. and to all of our supporters. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys in the next video.